Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sitting here in Tampa, heading back to Phoenix after spending 2 fantastic days with the investment banking team down at Raymond James. And I'm going to share some stats with you, and these are all things that I've heard before, but every time I hear them, it really just drives the point home. We've got about 6 million companies in the United States with payroll. Of those, about 50% are owned by boomers. They want to retire within the next 5 or 10 years. About 40% of those are owned by Gen Xers, people like myself, average age 50 or so. They want to be out in 5 years or so. So within that 5 to 10 year time frame, you've got about 80-90% of these businesses, we're talking about $15-16 trillion of wealth transfer that needs to now develop some kind of succession plan around. The sad truth is about 50% of these businesses do not have a successful transition. That means that there's a forced liquidation, there's an unwind, there's something that's not profitable. Best case scenario, these businesses get sold with a very steep discount. That's not the outcome anybody wants, because if you think about your individual business that you have out there, what you've got an extremely volatile, massively important single stock. And to most business owners, 80% of their wealth is tied up in this business. So what can we do about this? Because even that 50% that transition, have a successful transition, about 70% of the people involved in that have regret in terms of how they went about selling the business, what the process looked like. And really, even if you think you're 5 or 10 years out, you've got to get your businesses ready to transition and sell now. You've got to get the legal structures in place around the business. You've got to have a tax strategy to make sure you can do this thing effectively. You've got to get all the kind of lumps and the warts out of the business to make it marketable and something an outside buyer wants to invest in. Probably most importantly, though, you want to get your personal life in order. You want to get that personal track on to develop a clear vision of what your life is going to look like once you've transitioned out of this business, and also making sure that the wealth gap is filled, that this major asset, this major liquid asset that you've built over, in many cases, decades, is going to support your life in the next stage of your life. And that's really what we do. I mean, we'd love to talk to people about 2 to 3 years in advance of this, bring specialists in place that can help address all these issues and walk alongside our business owners to make sure their outcomes are successful, because that's really the fundamental goal and the purpose that I have for going to work every day when we're talking about these transitions, is making sure that these legacy assets, with the blood, sweat, the tears that have been put into building these assets, get transitioned successfully for the owners, for the employees, for the ultimate customers. And the best time to get that in place is now, because even if you have no intention of selling your business, a marketable business, a business that can be sold on day one because all that legwork has been put into place, it's value creation at the bottom line is what it is. So you sat with me for 3 minutes, thank you. And if you have any questions about anything we talked about, this is a passion of mine to make sure that that these businesses transfer successfully, whether it's an outright outside buyer, whether it's an internal succession with the company, whether it's just finding an outside growth partner. I'd love to have these conversations with you. So with that, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.